Stugotz here. Did you know that every single episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is now on Spotify? Yes, the same app that has millions of songs now also has thousands of podcasts. On Spotify, you can listen to all your favorite shows and discover new ones. Just not too many. We get jealous very easily. To subscribe to our show, search for the Dan Le Batard Show, tap follow, and get every new episode delivered to you. Podcast on Spotify. They are streaming right now. And 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 now.
Sport Clips Haircuts and ESPN are teaming up for a Dad's Day getaway. An all-expenses-paid trip to ESPN and a day spent with Golick and Wingo on their show. Register for your chance to win at sportclips.com/ESPN. No purchase necessary. See rules at sportclips.com/ESPN. U.S. only. Age 18 and up and 6/15/18.
Good weekend for the Marlins, Guillermo. The starting pitching was strong this weekend.
You know, you're not going to win many series when you give up 8 home runs, Dan. And things aren't looking great right now for the Fish. 1-9 in the last 10. 20-39. They're almost 20 games under 500.
What happened to nice little team that you and Stugotz were arguing for? What happened to nice little team?
You know, Dan, the baseball season has ebbs and flows. Right now, we're in a ebb, I believe.
Yep, it's an ebb.
Ebb of the season.
What is an ebb?
We'll get to the flows.
What is an ebb?
Not a flow.
It's not a flow. It's the opposite of a flow.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. What is an ebb? It's 2 B's, right? An ebb?
I believe so, yeah.
What a weird word.
There's been more ebbs than flows here so far.
Yeah, they're bad. They're really bad.
Coming.
They're really bad. No, there are no flows coming.
No, it's ebbs.
It's
just ebbs.
It'll only be flows if you think of it like diarrhea. The way diarrhea flows.
When the tide moves away from the land.
The official definition, yeah.
As opposed to your official definition, which is not a flow. I asked you what an ebb was, and your response was not a flow.
It's not.
Which is a pretty great comedic response from you, actually.
By the way, I have a new project that I want to get started if you guys are down for this. So, you know, I'd say that our relationship with the new Marlins regime so far has been rocky at best. Ours? Would you agree with that? So I think that this, by the way, might be a good chance to extend the olive branch. And I noticed All-Star Game voting is open. And I think as a show, we should get behind local kid Lewis Brinson and get him into the All-Star Game.
He's terrible.
People have been writing he should be sent down to the minors.
I know, but I think that's the joke. The joke is...
No. This is us extending an olive branch to the new Marlins, the Jeter Marlins, the British Virgin Island Marlins.
We should do that.
And we should test the reach of the show and see if we can get him in the All-Star Game.
That's a great idea.
It is a great idea. I'd like to expand it because I love to expand ideas. Why not just try to litter the National League All-Star team with Miami Marlins? Can we do that? Do we have enough power to do that?
No, that's you getting carried away. We're not even going to get Brinson in.
Let's just focus on one for now.
Okay.
Like, we just need him to be polling in, like, the top 3 in the first couple ones.
All right, so how do we do that? Tell me how we do that. I think we should have a graphic on the screen, always blinking throughout the show. Vote Lewis Brinson. Like, let's do that. I love that idea. All of it. Let's see. It'd be great if he was in the minors. Is he hitting under 200?
He's hitting 162 right now.
Oh. Perfect.
It's an ebb. He's in an ebb right now of the season.
That's not a flow.
I feel responsible for this. I kind of gave the scouting report on him, and it hasn't gone well for him, and I'm feeling regret.
For those of you who don't know, Chris Cody coached against Brinson in high school. He gave us exclusive scouting information when the Marlins traded for Brinson. Did he come over in the Yelich deal?
Yeah, and I don't want to say it again. Don't ask me to give the report again.
I know, I understand.
I've said enough.
You have. Okay, but I'll say it for you. Months ago, Cody said fastball's high, he'll swing through them, 0-2, breaking ball. Done. And apparently, all the shifters in the big leagues and all the advanced scouting has revealed that is absolutely so. But Guillermo, let's put a plan in place. I want it blinking during Wednesday night when we're watching the finals with America. Like, I want vote Lewis Brinson for the All-Star Game, and with a link telling people where to go. I absolutely want to try to do this.
I think we need to do it. Well, we're going to do it during the game, which is very good, but we need to kind of do this more national too, so that everybody gets behind it. The nation gets behind it, because this is a good way to rebuild our relationship with the new Jeter Marlins, and for Chris's apology for Lewis Brinson for ruining his career.
Yeah.
You think it helps our relationship by sarcastically voting in somebody who's
Whoa, where's the sarcasm? Whoa, back off.
Deserves
turning
it.
over a new leaf here.
Back off.
Yeah.
What if they end up sending him down?
That's not sarcastic.
Doesn't matter.
It's sincere.
Well, he can't get into the All-Star game.
Yeah, he can't. Fan voting. He's on the ballot. You can vote in whoever
you can get in, even though he's not an active major leaguer.
It happened in hockey a couple years ago, remember?
A texter writes in, olives are gross. Why extend that particular branch?
He keeps doing that. We're also turning over a new leaf. We're doing a bunch of things this morning.
Why are we doing things with trees and branches?
It's what you do. I'm sorry. You guys want to continue this contentious relationship? I'm trying to repair things here.
I want this idea over the course of this hour. I want to see what this idea is, and after Game 2 of the finals, I want to open the national show with how do we get this done.
Olives are not gross.
Olive branches from the book of Genesis. It was a sign that the flood was over, and an olive branch brought back to the ark by a dove.
So it ebbed. The flood ebbed?
Didn't flow.
It flowed first, and then it ebbed, and then olive.
Flowed too much.
Yeah.
Olives are terrible. We can agree on that.
Put it on
right?
the poll.
Too salty.
Are olives terrible?
You know what comes from olives? Olive oil.
Mm-hmm. Oh, delicious.
Delish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but this is always confusing because blueberries are wonderful in a muffin, but they're horrific by themselves.
Does anyone actually have an olive garden? I could see you having like an olive, farm, but not a garden of olives. In a garden, you'd want flowers, right?
Not if you make your own olive oil, which is popular in Tuscany, which is the sort of food that popular franchise does.
Right.
A texter writes in, tell Mike he's wrong about the new Kanye album. So very wrong.
I said it was bad.
Wow.
I'm not wrong.
Everyone's saying that.
It's bad. I mean, first off, it's seven tracks, which is the new thing. So rap has figured out how to inflate your streaming numbers, and that's why Migos came out with like a 26-song album, and that was the trend. And now they realize, oh no, we can just make our album super short, and that's what The Weeknd did. So The Weeknd dropped like a 6-track album. I'll just pay the $2 right now, but I'll get it out of the way. So The Weeknd did a 6-track album, and now
keep going down this path.
Daytona by Pusha T. That album's very good, which Kanye produced, by the way. Excellent production on that album. Credit where it's due. That album's 7 tracks, and this Kanye album's 7 tracks, and it's just boring. He sounds bored. His rhymes are boring. I mean, and I don't understand why, because he works with very good ghostwriters. Kanye, to his credit, has a supreme eye for talent, but his rhymes are terrible. The beats are kind of lazy. Yikes is all right, but it seems like a lesser version of something that he did in The Life of Pablo or whatever.
Mike, all that stuff is symbolic, though, where hunger dissipates. Like, think about what Kanye was and how much he craved all the things that came his way with the Kardashians and everything else. And then it is really hard to stay that kind of creatively hungry when you've arrived, when everything in your life is safe, and then you realize at 40 or whatever, hey, I need to reinvent myself. That's why I've told you so much. I admire, Bruce Springsteen's on Broadway, like Madonna doing it across decades, J-Lo still relevant. Like, those things are not easy to do. And Kanye's in a pit of fame and money and arrogance and stuff. Like, to go find the artist, and now you see Drake's in it a little bit now too.
Yeah,
Drake's in that pit too, where he's going. Will you think about what he just did? Instead of coming back at Pusha T, who's 41 and still hungry because he hasn't had the stuff that Kanye has had. He hasn't had the stuff that Drake has had, and instead of coming back at him, he goes to his notes to explain himself about blackface when he just gets eviscerated in a diss track. And so. You get a lot of people who do think pieces on this stuff writing about, hey, Drake, the artist you need to challenge isn't Pusha T.
Yeah, you're referencing that great New Yorker piece on what's going on with Drake. I was very surprised that Drake didn't clap back, because Drake, for being, made fun of as this millennial rapper / singer, he's always been pretty good in these sort of situations when anybody challenges him. But Pusha T got him cut to the bone.
Yeah, there are 2 of those there. I mean, the
album cover, which was taken out of context, and the only response that Drake has had is to sort of explain why he was posing in blackface.
Well, but that's when you ask why hasn't he come back, he needed to immediately address that, and he didn't feel comfortable doing it in his music. Instead, he went serious, and that's where an artist dies.
Yeah.
Like that right there is the needing to protect the public relations is is where artistry dies.
I've also seen his PR team trying to spin what's going on with his child and that baby's mother being flown in for the holidays and whatnot. There's some work being done there behind the scenes. Although I've seen a lot of people sort of hit Kanye with what Dan just said about Kanye being bored. I'm not really sure that's the case because his production on Pusha T's Daytona was excellent. And he seems to be working on a crap ton of projects. He went all the way out to Wyoming and he just immersed himself in his work to get out of this Kardashian
not dismissing
bubble.
him though, Mike. I'm just saying that this is what it looks like when, like, I'm not saying he can't come out of it. I'm not saying he's not talented enough to come out of it. I'm saying it's hard across decades to come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the greats can, and I believe him to be one of the greats. Hell, he's going to have an opportunity. I think this week that collaboration album that he has with Kid Cudi drops, and my expectations are even higher.
It's like the aging of athletes. It's like the aging of athletes. Like Dwayne Wade still thinks he can bring it all the time, and it just happens faster to athletes because the ecosystem is so cruel. But so's hip hops.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also this album sort of falls victim to what's going on with the music business in general because of streaming. I think streaming sort of really ruined releases because I'm a huge Jack White fan, but Jack White dropped 6 singles before his album comes out, and his album is like 12 songs
You're
long.
about to drop 6 singles on this console.
Hey, all right, very good. Good job.
I'm going ahead and do it right now. Am I being snobby right now, though?
Yeah.
Well, we are. We're both. We've excluded everybody. We've excluded everybody.
Sorry.
Nobody here wants to talk about that.
I'm turning my body to the guys. I'm like, do you like that? When I don't know how into music you guys are, but when an artist drops 4 singles before an album, and then the album drops, and then you realize the only songs I like on this album are the singles that he released. It takes a lot of the air out of an album release. And these 7-track albums, get out of here with that.
7 tracks
$6 more.
That's light.
Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
Chris Cody, how is it that you had a sharp single off of Matt Latos and also played with the big prospect? You played with the big prospect?
No, I coached against Lewis Brinson, the center fielder that we got back. He's a 5-tool outfielder, really good player. He went 1 for 4 against our awful baseball team.
Stugotz.
Did you have your ace on the hill, or?
No, what you do is you start with the heat and you go high in the zone.
Right.
And then when the 2 strikes come, curve it.
He sits dead red with 2 strikes?
That's right.
All right.
What pitcher was it for you? Was it like your ace, or was it like your number 3 guy?
Our number 2 was our number 2.
Number 2 guy.
This guy
What's he up to now?
Nothing.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
I always thought Kanye was one of those artists that if he drops new music, everybody, doesn't matter what type of music that you're into, he's just that sort of megastar that everybody runs to check it out. Chris, did you go and check out the new Kanye album?
No, I'm not a big music buff guy. I just kind of hear stuff when I hear it. I'm not, there's very few artists that I'm going to, I need to hear this entire album.
Right, I assume that Kanye was one of those artists. Billy, are you that kind of music fan the way that Chris is, or did you actually check out the Kanye album because of all the hype?
I have not. I did listen to the new J Balvin album and Maluma.
I did not like the new Maluma album at all. Very disappointing. How's the J Balvin? Heard good things.
It was pretty good, but it was the same thing that you were saying before, where 3 of the songs were singles. Like Mi Gente was the first song, and that's been out for a year and a half.
I always hate that when the song that's been out for a year ends up being on an album just to pad its streams. Roy, you're done with Kanye, right?
Yeah, he's in the sunken place right now, and he's not going to be able to escape. So yeah, I'm done with Kanye. And this Poopity Scoop song.
That's actually the best song.
How's that?
That was actually the best song of his new songs, the Poopity Scoop song. I felt that song outside of All Mine. I felt the Poopity Scoop song more than anything. And honestly, the one that he dropped with T.I. sort of voicing what the people's concerns were, I thought that song was creative. You didn't like that song? No. You didn't listen to it? You're just straight up boycotting Kanye?
Done.
Why do you only have 7 songs? That's really light for an album.
Because they found out ways. It's all about, because the way album sales are sort of calculated with streams, that you have to get to a certain number of streams, and that equals one album sale. So the initial thought was make an album super long, which is why Migos dropped an absurd 26-track album. I think Ray Shremmerd is also another one of these acts that just puts out a ton of songs on their album in hopes of inflating those streaming numbers, because after all, this is the music business. I think The Weeknd was the first one to really come out with something that was closer to EP length, which is shorter and about 6 tracks, and that way you actually burn through the album. The Kanye album is 24 minutes long. I listened to that 3 times on my way to work.
No. You need the album to be at least like 13 or 14 songs long. It has to be over an hour.
Yeah.
I'm a CD man.
Yeah.
I still like buying CDs.
Oh man, the struggle of having your case in your car and flipping through the CDs, or just burning something, a CD burner. That was so rewarding. It was so rewarding. Kids, it's so easy. Kids these days have no idea how to appreciate the real struggle of, you had to buy an album, and sometimes you would go to Blockbuster Music and listen to the entire album to preview it.
I remember that.
Blockbuster Music was actually great. You'd go to Specs and they'd have some samples out there.
Best Buy. Best Buy would have, and so would Barnes & Noble.
Yeah,
for
you'd
some
have
reason.
these listening stations, and you'd figure out, is this an album that I want? And sometimes you'd have to buy an album, sight unseen, without really listening, and you'd be in, and you'd listen from track 1 to track 12. And also, I'm not a fan of intros or skits.
Wait, you guys had listening stations? Because when I grew up, it's just you bought a record and you hoped that the record was good. There was no listening station. You could preview anything.
So this
That's
is
it.
just
you buy it, you hope it's good. You go Def Leppard, Pyromania, and you just hope that it's good, and that's it.
Well, that Blockbuster Music's whole motto was basically try it before you buy it, and that's why Blockbuster Music went out of business really quick.
It was like short though. It was like 15-second little snippets of the song. So you're like, I want to.
Blockbuster Music would let you jam out to an entire album. Also, remember how dope Virgin Megastore was at Sunset Place, where they would have their 1 through 20, the top 20 albums, and you would wait in line for the person to be finished listening, so you can get in there and listen to it, and then basically, what it is now, that's what I call music ruined music for everybody. Yeah. Because they took all the work out of it, and all you would do is just buy. Now that's what I call music. And how does that still exist in the age of streaming, when you can just easily put together a playlist of now that's what I call music?
There would always be one guy just sitting there listening to an entire album. It's like, man, I want to test this album out too. Can you move it along?
Nope, sorry,
just hogging the listening
keep it to 1 minute of each song, sitting there listening to the whole thing.
More and more listening stations. I mean,
I was trying to listen to the Hot Boys album, couldn't listen to the Hot Boys because this guy's just hogging the Hot Boys. Yeah. I mean, how long do you have to listen to the Hot Boys for 2 hours? Those were the good old days at Sunset Place where you could just cruise around the mall, listening to albums, never really buy anything, just cruise.
When you guys would make your own CDs, burn your own CDs, would you label them? I would write like Summer 2004.
Yeah, well, sometimes I would name them much cooler names than that.
Wow. Yeah, I was pretty boring with my names.
Like Ratty Tatty.
Oh.
Awesome Mix 3. Yeah. Summer.
Awesome Mix 3 is a lot cooler than what Chris did. Awesome Mix 3.
Yeah. Way better.
Really?
Yeah. Super Duper Jams. Oh, yeah. Super Duper Jams was always
Super
big.
Duper Jams 1, 2, 3.
I was this was a recent thing. I was still burning CDs when we were in the old studio because I would still play songs off of the CD deck.
I remember you came in one day with, I don't remember what band it was, but you gave us all burned CD of some band.
Nobody listened to it.
It was like, I don't remember, some random band. It was new albums out, guys. Here, I made everybody copy that. It's in my car, I think, still somewhere.
Yeah, did you ever listen to that album?
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Roy actually listened to it. I made one for Stugotz. He chucked it in the garbage as soon as I handed it to him.
Confirmed, yeah. Told him it was great, though.
I love the 5th song. It was great, buddy.
Yeah. Song 5, yeah.
It was Arcade Fire. Arcade Fire, it wasn't some tiny band.
It's hard to get CDs now, man. Like, there's not the selection there used to be. You go to Best Buy, there's not that many CDs. Target has, like, the popular ones.
I think Best Buy announced that they're going to stop selling CDs.
I know. It's a really sad day. And some cars don't have CD players anymore.
No. You know what's actually the best record store? I'm actually a member now. I go to Barnes & Noble to pick up my vinyl records. That's where I go. Because that's the only time I actually buy a physical copy, is if it's a vinyl. I collect that stuff. So Barnes & Noble is actually the best record store by me.
And yet Justin Timberlake's album is everywhere. It was at Publix. It's at Target. He has some deal where he can... What? I swear to you. I saw just at the checkout, like, he has his album at every random store you could think of.
Well, sometimes these artists have these endorsement deals, like Justin Timberlake has with Target, and they have the exclusive Target version where the songs that aren't good enough to get on the album are available on the Target version. So go out to Target to get the exclusive Target version.
Same thing happened with Taylor Swift. I was getting my girlfriend for either her birthday or Christmas, I don't remember because they're both in December, tickets for Taylor Swift's concert. And I thought, man, this is going to be really hard to get, and these are going to be expensive things. So like a month and a half before, I started jumping through all these hoops where I joined some Taylor Swift like fan club, and I have to go on every day and watch a video, and it moves me up in the line to be able to get tickets for this concert. And I'm watching this video, and I'm behind the scenes this, and I'm going to get the Target version because there's a code in there, and I enter the code. And now these ticket sales, I'm finding out, were not even great. And I could have gotten tickets today if I wanted to this concert. And I'm still getting Taylor Swift, Taylor Nation updates every day via email.
Are you still going through with it, though? Because now you've...
No, I bought the tickets already, but now I feel like, I feel committed. And then I was there, and I'm like, man, which version of this album do I get her? Because there's this cover, and this one comes with a magazine. Does she want the magazine? And now her car doesn't even have a CD player, so I bought the CD for nothing.
Did you even like that Taylor Swift album? I thought it was bad.
There was a couple. I mean, I heard that she was going to do... I heard that they made like an announcement that she's going to do old songs in her concert, which is good because I'm not going to listen to the new stuff.
What,
I want the
country
hits.
Taylor Swift?
I don't need country Taylor Swift, but, I want some hits. I want some Taylor Swift hits. I don't want just...
You want Bad Blood?
Look what you made me do. Oh, Bad Blood. Yeah. The Rock is going to be jumping.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's going to be at she's easily selling out that stadium?
No, that's what I'm saying. Ticket sales I don't think have been good. I read that Hard Rock... No, the stadium.
The Hard Rock Stadium.
Yeah.
The Rock, where, the Canes don't lose, except in the Orange Bowl. But that was really a neutral field game.
I read that she took off resales on Ticketmaster. Like, I didn't even know you could do that, but she had Ticketmaster take off resales because they want to sell the actual tickets first.
I'm glad you brought up Ticketmaster. Has anybody experienced this with Ticketmaster lately, where it's not the same way anymore? You zoom in on a specific seat, and it's all basically resales. Yeah. I can't buy tickets. I had to go secondary market for Jack White tickets because he's playing when I'm up in Portland and I want to see him. I tried going through Ticketmaster and I zoom in on specific seats. They're like $257, $258. And then I go on StubHub and it's $70. It's like closer to the actual price. And this happens with sporting events too. I don't know what's going on with Ticketmaster, but I'm just going to go to Live Nation now to buy seats. Ticketmaster is just all resale. Yep. I hate it.
Where do you get actual tickets now?
It's hard. It's super confusing. I have to join Taylor Nation, or I have to get, at least with Jack White, you're a Vault member, you're guaranteed an early window with tickets.
A Vault member? What is
so Jack White has Third Man Records, right?
Yeah.
And that's in Nashville. I actually went there a couple weeks ago. It's awesome.
Right.
You get exclusive vinyls every 3 months as a part of the Vault program, but also as a part of the Vault program, you get special pre-sales. Where it's not just, okay, here's a pre-sale code and everybody else gets it. You get a certain period of days where only Vault members are allowed to buy tickets. So Vault members are pretty much guaranteed to buy tickets if they want to see Jack White live or any other third man.
Do most acts have this now? Like, can you be...
No.
Like, I know Pearl Jam has something like that.
Yeah, Pearl Jam has something like this. You have to get to a certain, I guess, echelon. But, I mean, Jack's aided by the fact that he has a record company.
Right.
So a lot of this is in an effort to, get you to buy into the record company and support that music. Also, Vault members get to chat with Jack White occasionally. You'll get a notification. Jack White's in the chat room, and you can go ask Jack White questions, and he actually does this fairly often.
Do you think it's really
cool.
Jack White?
There's no way to prove it.
Put that on the poll. Do you think Jack White is actually talking to Vault members?
Has he ever answered one of your questions?
You know what's so weird?
Well, you don't know if it's him answering the question. It could be anybody.
You know what's so weird is I get nervous, and I can't think of a question to ask the person I'm not
Mike,
sure.
you're not face to face with him. You don't even know if it's him.
No, I've only worked up the courage to ask a question once, and he didn't answer it.
What was the question?
I was going through a jazz phase, and I thought I could connect with him. I'm like, hey, is there a jazz album that you would recommend a beginner? And he didn't ignore it. I guess he's not that into jazz and everything, but I guess, or that question just didn't do much for him. Either way, I just creep it out. I just creep it out in the chat room, and I just watch his responses. I would say that his responses make it seem like it's Jack White, but now I'm kind of worried that it's not Jack White after you put that on my radar. Are you sure it's not Jack White? As a part of Taylor Nation, do you get to chat with Taylor Swift?
I have not been participating in Taylor Nation in some time.
But does she have a chat? What do you get as a part of Taylor Nation?
You get priority in buying tickets is all that I got. I mean, I didn't pay anything to join Taylor Nation, but I get lots of newsletters. I get lots of info. Charlie SCX is going to be
she's opening?
Opening. There's
I like
someone else.
Charlie
I think there's
SCX.
multiple opening acts.
Have you tried to say her name fast? That's why she does it. Charlie XCX. Charlie XCX. Charlie XCX. And then all of a sudden you're spelling XCX, but you're really spelling SEX. Her name is basically Charlie Sex. Yeah. How about that? Roy, are you a member to any artists' fan clubs or whatnot?
No. No, I'm not.
Wow.
Chris Cody, you parrot head? You look like a parrot head.
Yeah, you do.
No one in here would be able to guess. Like, there's one artist out there that, like, anytime he releases an album, I'm buying it that day and listening to it. I think you would,
I know the answer. Yeah. It's random. Random as all hell. You and Jason Whitlock are the only Tech Nine fans.
Tech Nine, baby. He's like as good a rapper as there is out there, lyrics wise.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. No, Jason Whitlock says this very same thing. How does it feel having the same music taste as Jason Whitlock?
Yeah, don't feel great about that.
Yeah, you should.
This is your bedroom. This is your bedroom with Blue Chew. Blue Chew uses the same active ingredients as in Viagra or Cialis, but now comes in chewable form. Chewable means better, cheaper, and works faster than pills. No in-person doctor visit, no waiting in line, no more awkwardness. 100% online at BlueChew.com, where your first order is free. Just pay $5 shipping. Use promo code DAN at BlueChew.com and restart the party.
Dan Le Batard.
Where can we hurt Derek Jeter the most?
Why do you want to
right
hurt Derek Jeter?
in his wallet. Listen, Dan, I'm obviously very fair. I'm telling you the way things are.
Stugotz.
Hold on. I love this new character of Chris Cody as confused moral conscience in the back of the room. Why do you want to hurt Derek Jeter?
He hurt me. I'm going to hurt him back, and I'm going to hurt him in the pocketbook.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
I actually have some local sports stuff I want to get to. I know that we haven't talked local sports yet, but there's actually a few things that interest me. And believe it or not, I have a couple Marlins things that interest me. And I know typically I'm jaded Marlins guy that doesn't really care, but I am so into the teal coming back and them wearing Florida Marlins uniforms and just seeing this stuff on my timeline. I want to buy all of it. I think I want to go to the games. What's happening to me? Is this just because I hate the Marlins' current logo and color set because it's terrible? I've hated it since they announced it. And for me, that's sort of when I stopped caring. I know it was that Blue Jays trade, but it sort of happened around the same time. These uniforms that they wear right now are terrible. They need to go back to the Florida Marlins style. Now, there's a campaign to become the Florida Marlins again on Twitter. I know Rizmigiz wrote something in the New Times about that. I'm cool with being the Miami Marlins, but just go back to the old colorway.
Yeah. I bought a hat.
Really? Yeah?
Already?
Yeah, I had to. I didn't have one of the old teal ones, so I had to get one. I got one.
I only have one of the black ones, like the ones that they wore in 03, but the solid teal, I want to cop one of those because I never had one of those. The most I had was the teal, but with the black bill.
Yeah.
That they wore in the 97 World Series, when Sheffield had that epic game. Oh, man. It reminds me of better times, and I'm not really sure why that is because they had just as many good times in the uniforms that they had in 03. But the 97, it reminds me of my childhood. Do you think this is going to be any sort of draw?
They're selling tickets for $4 and they're in the upper deck. Now, it's going to look weird if everybody's sitting in the upper deck and the bottom's empty.
If there's upper deck tickets available, that leads me to believe that it's going to be some sort of draw. They're putting all their marketing might behind this one promotion. You really can't escape it if you pay attention to sports down here, which is sort of surprising. I think that they're counting on the nostalgia bit. Do they have anything special planned for these games in terms of advancing this nostalgia? Are there any former players that are going to be coming by?
Softball game, like an alumni softball game.
That's pretty cool because when I was in Boston last weekend, and there's this bleacher bar that's a part of Fenway, and you could actually look into the stadium, but you don't have to buy a ticket. It's pretty amazing. Wow. When I was there, I got there before the game, and they were having their alumni game, and it was awesome. Pedro Martinez was pitching to Mike Lowell. I'd watch baseball if this were actually baseball. There's a 40-something-year-old Mike Lowell against a 40-something-year-old Pedro Martinez.
There's a alumni softball game on Sunday, starting at 11:30.
So, before the game.
Is Charlie Huff going to be there?
He is going to be there.
Yes.
Charlie Huff, Charles Johnson, Livan Hernandez, Luis Castillo, Mike Lowell, Edgar Renteria, Antonio Alfonseca, Alex Fernandez, Cliff Floyd, Juan Pierre. subject to change.
Oh, Mike Lowell's in a sweet spot where he's cashing checks from both teams playing in alumni games. That's amazing.
That he's in the Red Sox Hall of Fame.
I mean, he's wait.
Yeah.
No, he's in the Red Sox Hall of Fame, but doesn't have his jersey retired.
Yeah, but he's in the Hall of Fame.
Well,
he was
that's
there like 4 seasons, wasn't he? I don't want to disparage Mike Lowell. I like Mike Lowell. I saw him at a Pitbull concert once, but is he a Hall of Fame?
Doesn't that confuse you when teams have a Hall of Fame, but then they also retire numbers, and retiring numbers is obviously the higher honor? David Ortiz, I imagine, is in the Hall of Fame, but he's got his jersey number retired by the Boston Red Sox. That's way cooler. I'm confused. The New Orleans Saints do this too, where they have a Hall of Fame and a Ring of Honor, but the Ring of Honor is more prestigious. Yeah, right. So Aaron Brooks is a member of the Hall of Fame, but Aaron Brooks' number is not retired, or he's not a member of the Ring of Honor. These different steps, man. But there's a huge part of this nation that think of Mike Lowell as a Red Sox, not as a Marlin. And that just shocks me.
Yeah.
It shocks me. But that's what happens when you win a World Series in Boston.
You want to hear a funny story about, it just happened to me this weekend, with Mike Lowell. I ran into somebody. You guys are going to like this because I'm such a weirdo. I ran into somebody who said he knew Mike Lowell, and I knew Mike Lowell. I've known Mike Lowell. And so I FaceTime Mike Lowell with this guy who...
that's so your move.
Hold on, listen to this. You're going to like this, though. My move, you're going to like how it ends in disaster. So I FaceTime Mike Lowell with this high school teammate of his. It's a high school teammate. I figured it'd be happy to see how, busted up the guy is after all these years. And some Korean dude answered because the numbers changed. He's just staring at me. I got my arm around this guy.
That Korean guy's got the greatest story. I got this weird FaceTime from Dan Levitard. Can we track that Korean guy's number down? I would like to interview that Korean guy. There's another Marlins story that we haven't discussed, which I found this weird because last week Darren Ravel, I feel like this is right up Billy's alley. Darren Ravel sort of cracked the case as to why the Marlins had a headquarters in the British Virgin Islands. Did you guys see this? You know the reason why? Because one of the Marlins investors, his family benefited from Hugo Chavez being in office in Venezuela. So it's to protect the Marlins from having their assets seized potentially by the Venezuelan government.
Yeah, wow. So this guy, Tobias Guerrero, is Venezuelan. He's the president of some Venezuelan baseball team, and I guess they brought him on to, better the Marlins... international appeal, I guess Venezuelan appeal, or appeal to Venezuelans here. And he's connected, or his family is allegedly connected to a bad dude. If they got money from Chavez, that's not someone Venezuelans are going to support. And there's been a turn. So he set up this company in the British Virgin Islands, and they made an amendment in the court filings to say that it is a British company, but it's run out of Panama. So I guess now it's, a Panamanian thing.
What?
Yeah.
So we have to pivot. You have to put a Panamanian flag up here on your computer?
So it's run out of Panama. So it's not a British Virgin Islands company anymore. It's just registered there. But the operations are out of Panama, which is probably why they had difficulty finding the office there when they went to the British Virgin Islands. So
okay, so
Marlins and Andy want to go down to Panama to find the office. That's where they'll find it.
Yeah, there'll be a physical standing office in Panama, no doubt, and not just a P.O. box. Right. Am I stupid for saying, why didn't they vet this?
I mean...
Did this not come up?
I think they just needed money, right?
I mean, clearly.
And they said, he's Venezuelan. He has a Venezuelan team. This is great for all the Venezuelans in Miami. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it goes deeper than that. I don't know how they vetted this guy, but... I don't know. Supposedly that's where the money came from, and they're concerned that the government might seize assets, one of which might be, that would have been incredible if the Venezuelan government tried to seize
what do they
a portion of the Miami Marlins.
like they just come and take Dietrich? What do they seize? What can they possibly seize? They can't take any part of the actual Miami.
Sculpture.
The home runs. Oh, man. This has been Jeter's plan all along. That's how he's going to get the sculpture out of here. I wanted to ask you guys something else about local sports, but it is kind of a national topic. But I got this idea from reading Ask Ira. Okay? Ooh. So a lot has been made of LeBron's body language, which has gotten really bad. There's this incredible video that's just fixed on LeBron and J.R. Smith after JR made the mistake. Yeah. and it's the moments before overtime. It's such dramatic video. You can cut the tension with a knife. No one is talking. And then you could see about 2 minutes into the video, Ty Lue walk up, and you could see LeBron mouth what was going on that inbound. Ty Lue said something that LeBron just didn't like, and he put a towel over his face, and he was just so upset and just dejected, and he separated himself even further, even though physically he was the furthest from the huddle. They all put their hands in the huddle, and LeBron's just like the last one in there. So everyone's assuming he gone after this video. So Ask Ira, somebody asked a question, because now we all know that LeBron's leaving Cleveland because look at that video. His body language is so terrible. So Ask Ira, the question was posed, how does Pat Riley approach this offseason with LeBron James? Because it's an interesting question considering how he got burned a couple of years ago. Does Pat Riley have in his mind that maybe LeBron just might be using him? What are LeBron's motivations if you were to take a meeting with Pat Riley? How does Pat even approach that? Is it just to clear the air? Is it just to be in a good spot with LeBron James?
Selfishly, Pat Riley approaches that with, help me fix the end of my career. I don't want to leave the Miami Heat in this condition. He can put aside his ego for that. He's suffered the last couple of years enough, been humbled enough to actually be rooting for LeBron in the finals the way he wasn't at the beginning. He was rooting against him at the beginning. And now he is rooting for him, and he knows that at the end of their career, at the end of his career, that LeBron can help him. I just don't have any earthly idea what the mechanics have to be to make this a spot that LeBron would actually want to come to beyond, hey, I've been in Cleveland. Because what you're talking about with LeBron and the body language, that's how he handles stuff. He just sort of disconnects. Does it remind you of anybody, Mike?
But did they have that relationship where LeBron would feel inclined to help him fix his legacy at the end? Because it's almost like a pity me type of thing is the way you make it sound.
No, I'm not saying that. Look, man, come on. It's Pat bleeping Riley. It's not pity me. It's bleeping help me. It's help me. It's not pity
I feel like
me.
that's a big step for Pat Riley.
Well, but I'm saying he's been humbled. He's been humbled he's been humbled. The whole game has changed the last couple of years. The whole thing is different. He was giving money to Whiteside. Whiteside stopped mattering in 5 minutes. He always won with Ewing and Mourning and Kareem. That's not how we play anymore. JaVale McGee is going to win the championship. JaVale McGee is dominating LeBron yesterday in the first quarter. JaVale McGee!
There's an incredible stat that the Warriors got a combined 22 points on 11 of 11 shooting from JaVale McGee and Sean Livingston.
They spent the whole first quarter at the rim, and I thought Cleveland's whole thing was, look, we'll let them have dunks. Just no more three-pointers.
Man, Steph is finally stepping up to the challenge, too. It's fun seeing Steph. This is what I've always wanted.
That's what it looks like when the shots go in.
Yeah, but this is what I've always wanted. And someone actually pointed out to me that Steph's NBA Finals numbers are actually not that bad. But I really can't shake the Dellavedova series where he could barely get by Dellavedova, and then obviously the blowing the 3-1 thing. I just felt like nobody on that team had guts. So to see Steph doing this, and it's cool that finally a two-time MVP might actually win this Finals MVP, because I thought he was done winning Finals MVPs once Durant came aboard. I thought Durant was just going to be, okay, I got the supporting cast, but I'm going to try to be better than LeBron here. It's my team now. And in those moments, and they're running more ISO plays for Kevin Durant than they ever have before, but it's so cool to see Steph, because when that guy's going, it's the most fun basketball can be.
It's fun, but he's so unlikable to me. Everyone says he's so cute and like he's so cocky. He's the reason I'm rooting for LeBron. There's something about Steph Curry.
Really? You've got him as cocky. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Steph Curry, cocky or humble? Because he's selling that humble. I got a dark side.
Shoulder shakes.
Yeah, buy my car. I got a dark side. I get milk when my wife calls me. He's selling humble.
He's rolling his eyes at Kendrick Perkins after their little exchange.
What Kendrick did was kind of lame. Kendrick sort of stuck his foot out a little bit in an attempt to maybe trip Steph Curry. Steph Curry, who I don't know if you've seen the braces that he's wearing underneath. He has chronic ankle problems.
I didn't see that.
So Steph took exception to it. Just get your feet away from my feet. You're Kendrick Perkins. You're not playing. Yeah. So I understand where Steph was coming from, but I also understand Chris Cody's take, because that's why I was rooting for LeBron 2 years ago to come back from 3-1, because this guy's so cocky when everything's going well, and then when the game gets tight and he's not performing as well, he's shriveled up in those big moments. But now he's sort of stepping up. Yeah. He's stepping up in these moments.
Last night was fun watching him, even as much as I don't like him.
I mean, how could you not get super amped when he hit that ridiculous shot?
Which one, Mike?
There were so many. The one that was beating the buzzer, fading away over Kevin Love, where he shot it from my living room. What do you do? And it was a beautiful shot. It was not lucky. The trajectory on it, everything was perfect.
Clay had one of those too. That's why nobody can beat them. Like that's it.
Well, I don't even know what the pitch is to LeBron in the offseason because I'm not sure you can. Is the pitch to LeBron, we got to get Kawhi and just go, we're just going to assemble the greatest defensive team because no team's going to top that team's offense. Right. The only way that you can beat this team is by creating a team of extraterrestrials.
How though, Mike?
Basically,
how can they do it with the contracts? Like the part that feels like pipe dream in it is how the bleep do you get Kawhi and LeBron, or either of them, in the present situation? How?
I've got no idea. This is Pat Riley's greatest challenge if he gets into a room. And Pat Riley's all about just get me in a room. This might be Pat Riley's only other shot to get LeBron James, right? Considering where Pat Riley is in his career and where LeBron is in
There might be a shot in a year if LeBron opts back in for a year just because he doesn't have any better options.
True. But, okay. So,
and he could spend the year. Yeah. He could spend the year. They could talk in that free agency meeting about, Pat, this is what you need to do over the next year.
Wow, that's a super creative angle, and that's not considered tampering. But how does one hold that secret for a full year?
They did it already. They already did it once. That secret was, I mean, they cleared that roster. It was just Joel Anthony and Mario Chalmers on the roster, right? When they went into that offseason, everybody was gone. They've already done that once together.
Yeah, but
right, Dan Gilbert tried to launch an investigation to get the NBA because he knew they had already done that.
But they did that because the players did that on their own. You had Dwayne Wade here.
They'd be doing it that way again. You've got Dwayne Wade here.
We don't know if Dwayne Wade's coming back. We don't know what sort of work has been done on this front.
No, we do not.
If any.
But if you can repair the relationship with Wade, the relationship that matters to LeBron is the one with Wade. Riley can help him the same way Dan Gilbert can help him. The one that matters is the one with Wade. He's going to end up somewhere with Chris Paul or somewhere with somebody he likes and respects. Like he's not going to just end up somewhere. It just might have to. It might have to wait a year in the condition.